What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So as you can tell by the title and thumbnail of this video, I'm already having problems with the new mau5mobile. The mau5mobile 3.0, the Ford Fusion Energi Platinum. So earlier today I was at work, it started raining, so I took shelter in my car and I turned it on because I wanted the AC running. And there are two different battery symbols in the Fusion Energi. There's a larger one for, after you've charged it with the charging cable right there. Once that's gone, so once the charge is showing 0% on that big battery meter, it then disappears and becomes a smaller battery meter, and the car becomes locked in hybrid mode until you next plug it in. So you have that small battery icon until then. And what happens in this mode is the gas engine kicks on more frequently, whereas in when you've charged it, it mainly relies on the electric drivetrain alone, unless you put in a considerable amount of throttle input. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I turned on the car, and that small battery meter, I ran that down till 9%, and I noticed the engine wasn't kicking on. So I cycled the transmission in and out of gear. I put it in drive and I put it back into neutral. So then the engine was idling all by itself, and it idled for about 5 minutes, and then after that it shut off. So the engine died all by itself, and then it was accompanied by a message that said, "Stop safely now." Mind you, I was already parked. I was in neutral, parking brake was on, car was just idling in hopes I could build back some of that battery. The battery was constantly at 9%, and then the car shut off. So I turned the car off and back on. Engine started right away, and then it ran for another 5 minutes and then died again, and once again showed that "Stop safely now" message. So with that being said, I've taken the car back to CarMax. It's in the workshop now. They've given me a loaner car, and here it is. It's a 2022 Chevy Malibu. And to be honest, probably one of the worst rental cars I've ever had. It's pretty bare bones. I mean, it was peppy earlier today, but just on the most recent drive, I mean, mind you, the AC was cranked up full blast, so that might have something to do with it. Throttle response just wasn't there from a stop, which I think is a little dangerous, especially if you're trying to get out of a hairy situation. But yeah, AC at least blows ice cold, so I can't complain there. But it's got manual everything, manual seats, manual parking brake. Oddly enough, the hybrid Malibu has an electronic parking brake, so I'm not sure why all Malibus don't have it, but whatever. I mean, hopefully I get the mau5mobile back tomorrow, but yeah, the service guys said they would give me a ring as soon as they have an update. But yeah, I told them everything going on and everything they need to know in order to potentially replicate the problem, but they shouldn't need to do that in an ideal world, because we do have top-notch technology. I mean, or should I say, the service technicians have top-notch technology where they can use a computer to pull codes. There might be a stored code somewhere in the module that triggers that warning, because it was triggered within the last 24 hours. And it's probably stored longer than that, but it's the same type of thing with check engine lights. If your check engine light comes on, the code is stored for a certain period of time if it is an on and off check engine light, because the code could come back at any time and once again turn on the check engine light. But if the problem goes away, it will not come back, and the code will disappear from the OBD2 system. So that's a stored code. Like, for example, let's say you forget to tighten your gas cap. Check engine light's going to come on, And before that, it will have a yellow caution. If you have a scan tool, you're familiar with this. Green means there are no codes, no pending codes, no stored codes, nothing. Yellow means there is a pending or stored code. And red means the check engine light is on and there's an active code that is triggering said check engine light. So, yeah, thankfully I don't have a check engine light, but stop safely now message, that's more serious, because what I noticed as well is that the push button start, the light on it was flashing as if the ignition was on and the car was not running. So basically the powertrain cut itself off while I was parked for no reason whatsoever. I have no idea why, but I just thought, I'd get it to the workshop so that it can be inspected and potentially addressed if there is a problem, because I don't want to be driving an unsafe vehicle that's going to leave me stranded in the middle of a very dangerous situation at any given moment. So that's the thing I'm getting at. And the car is still under the 90-day, 1,500-mile CarMax warranty, so more power to me. I won't have to pay 1 penny for whatever they're going to do. So that's where we're at right now, but I'll just show you something interesting. So here are the key fobs for the rental car, and you notice a couple things that are different is this key fob has a remote start button. This one does not. And this one has a Chevy logo on it. This one does not. So it makes me wonder, did somebody end up becoming such a poor soul that they lost a key fob for this car and had to replace it? And this one right here must be an aftermarket key fob, because 1, it doesn't have the remote start button, and 2, it doesn't have the Chevy logo on the back. So that's interesting. Another thing I've noticed is that, well, I mean, I don't know if I can show it to you now, but there was a rear passenger reminder system. So there's a sensor in the rear seats that detects when occupants are in the back. And so whenever you turn off the car, if there are passengers in the back, it reminds you to check and make sure nobody's left behind. It's kind of like a child check system on a school bus. Difference is, you don't have a button to press to deactivate it. It's just a simple reminder, check to make sure no passengers are left behind in the vehicle. But yeah, like I said, pretty bare bones stuff. There's the emergency brake pedal right there. Pop the hood. There's an Ecotech. I believe this is a 4-cylinder, if not a 3, and then it is turbocharged. I would not be surprised if this is a 3-cylinder, but it feels and sounds like a 4 to me, so I'm gonna go with that. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of this update. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up if you did. Stay tuned for more. Peace out.